People are afraid of judgment, the spotlight on themselves, because your voice is a musical instrument. Most people, they get stuck in just a really small range.
I find what I use voice for is great for storytelling. But initially when you're walking on stage or when you're seen on social media on camera, it's all about your presence.
You've got 5 seconds to
Yes.
grab and hold the attention of your audience before you've even opened your mouth to speak. People see themselves in stories, and that's what makes them sticky, memorable, relatable, and makes you memorable and relatable.
Welcome to Star Moguls podcast. I'm your host, Maryum Sharif, and this is the Dubai edition. I'm joined by a beautiful friend and fellow creator, podcaster. Her name is Lisa Hugo. She's a voice and communications coach. Welcome, Lisa.
Well, thank you so much, Maryum. It's good to be here.
A well overdue interview, but
In Dubai as well. We've been talking about doing this online, but yeah, we're both in the
you
same
know what?
city. Let's
Where
make
it's
it
meant
happen.
to be. You know, we were meant to be here. We were meant to be in London, but this is the interview that you're my first guest. So thank you so much.
Well, I feel privileged.
So I've known you for a little while, and but I only found out at the closing ceremony, and when we were attending the 1 Billion Summit, that you're actually a trained singer and you had a band.
I've had many bands.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're actually a singer and performer
Yes.
in New Zealand?
No,
In
I'm from Australia.
Oh, from Australia.
From Australia. I started my career as a singer-songwriter. Well, I
Right.
I studied musical theatre
Right.
and went first of all into that field of being on stages.
Yes.
I did a bit of acting. I did a bit of everything. When you're first
Yeah.
starting out and you're trying to find
Trying to
what
find
is
yourself.
your main direction. So it was just a matter of take any job, any job.
Yeah.
But it was all in the performing arts. And then I gravitated towards being a jazz pop crossover artist.
Oh, okay.
My signature style was playing the piano and singing on stage simultaneously. So if you would akin me to another artist, it was probably a similar style to Nora Jones or
Oh,
Diana
yes.
Krall.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Nice.
And I spent 15 years of my career then traveling the world as a singer-songwriter. And that's what
Yeah.
brought me to Europe. It's where I met my husband in Germany.
Right.
And yeah, bit by bit, we then shifted across to Dubai.
Lovely.
And the last big event that I did was the Dubai International Jazz Festival. And so I've done a few things since then, but that's probably the latest thing.
Oh, right.
that I-
They had a jazz festival here.
Oh, it's big.
Oh, wow.
Big. They bring in some of the biggest artists every year.
Okay, that's an event to go to as
That
well.
was that was a very honorable thing to be able to get that opportunity.
Yes.
They flew my band in from overseas. And at that point, I
Oh,
had
wow.
just become a mum to my second.
Right.
And
Okay.
so I had an 8-month-old and a 2.5-year-old.
Right. Okay. So
And it was
difficult to
time for
manage.
me to pivot
Yes.
and not do so many. 'Cause when you're a performer, you're out at nights, you're
Yeah.
traveling. You can't do that as a mum.
No.
So-
no.
So life took a turn.
Okay.
And
Right.
that's when I shifted into coaching.
Right. So, as entrepreneurs and founders, I find that many don't like to just speak, and it isn't a fact that public speaking is the number one fear. It's not death; it is public speaking.
According to some US studies, yes,
yeah.
it is the number one fear above death.
Above death. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because people are afraid of judgment. People are afraid of being the center of attention. What will people think of me? And they have a mindset which is completely wrong about public speaking.
Yeah.
I think that is the key factor, is they're thinking too much about themselves and they're not thinking about, I've got value. How can people gain from my value?
Yes.
So they've got the spotlight on themselves. They don't
Yes.
have the spotlight on their audience.
Right. I think that if they turn that around of who am I here to serve and help, rather than, and they're here to listen to me, to my advice or my, knowledge. And yeah, I change that around completely.
Yes.
A U-turn.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is one of the key shifts,
Yeah.
I think, in getting over the fear. Now, of course, we all get jitters and fears and
Yes.
physical manifestations of nervousness. You get dry mouth, your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. Everybody's a bit different.
Absolutely.
Some men sweat profusely, and or the heart starts to beat too fast. You shallow breathe. And when you shallow breathe, then that means, this escalates and the nerves get even worse. They compound. And so, of course, we have to learn to get those aspects in check as well. You have to learn how to calm yourself, how to turn that negative energy into something positive that's going to fuel your delivery and your presentation and not hinder it.
Yeah. Have you ever been on stage or speaking and forgotten your words, or like your next section, what to say?
It happened as a singer as well.
Oh,
Made
really?
mistakes on piano. Oh, I hit the wrong note. But
Right.
it's how you manage yourself
Recover.
in that moment, how you recover, exactly. Or whether you make it noticeable to the audience or you don't. And in most cases, when something happens, the audience would never know
Notice
unless you make it obvious.
Right. Okay.
If you apologize for something,
Yeah.
or oh, sorry, or I forgot where I was at. You don't
No, you don't
that.
do that. No. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think you're trying to create authority and leadership. And so how would you do that? Because if your voice is your instrument and it's used for storytelling, then how can you use that to create authority and leadership? Like, what would you say is the biggest way of doing that?
Oh, learn how to use your voice.
Yeah.
Learn how to play with your voice. Because your voice is a musical instrument.
It is, absolutely. I do find it's a musical instrument.
It's the same instrument that you use if you're singing or if you're speaking. We speak on musical notes.
Yeah.
And yet most people, they get stuck in just a really small range of musical notes. I'm only speaking around here, and this is where I'm used to speaking. And when I get used to speaking here, then I don't feel comfortable going anywhere else in my range. And so now I'm only going to sound like this. And if I speak like this for too long, then my audience is going to
stop, Lisa.
Right? So you have to learn how your voice works.
Absolutely.
And that also ties in with overcoming the nerves, because your voice rides on breath. Everything. I actually say the whole foundations of public speaking, of speaking effective, powerful speaking, is breath.
So how do we either activate or strengthen our breath then? How do we do that?
Do you want to do a couple of exercises?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Actually, my method to get people to connect with deep and aligned diaphragmatic breathing is so simple.
Right.
You can just do it in a split second.
Oh, really? Okay.
All I want you to do is breathe out without breathing in, and you're going to breathe out on an SH.
Can you do one first, and so then I can see what you're doing?
What do you feel?
My sound was vibrating.
But what do you feel? Do it again, and I want you to sort of notice what do you feel, what part of your body is engaged and what part is relaxed.
I think my core.
Your core.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're working your core to exhale your air. Yeah. And when you breathe out without breathing in, your body will naturally and instinctively work the right muscles. But very often, if I had asked you to breathe in first, you breathe in, and then you'd exhale, and your body would collapse downwards, as opposed to working your core to support the breath to come out that way.
So let's say, for those who are podcasters, because we're podcasters also, what should we be doing then before we go on camera? What should we be doing? Yeah.
Okay.
So the most important thing.
Do some breathing.
Yes.
And that one exercise is a great way to ground your breath, get you in a relaxed state.
Okay.
And you do it more than once, obviously.
Yes.
And what you find after you've breathed out, all you need to do is relax, and your breath instantly restores itself back down to a deep diaphragmatic breath. So you're no longer breathing shallow. That gets you grounded. And then if you want to warm up your voice, the best exercise, the fastest way to warm up is to do what I call a lip roll or a lip bubble. And that's where you... It's not pretty.
No, it's not at all.
But it's extremely effective.
Oh, wow. Let me try it. Get it there. Oh, okay. It's the first time. Well, it sounds so weird, and it feels so weird sensationally on your lips, right?
Yeah.
But I guess you need that kind of, oh, I feel a little bit
So what
like opened up.
Yeah, exactly. What it's doing is it's relaxing all of your facial muscles.
Yes.
It's making you getting that tingly feeling in your
Right,
lips.
right,
It's
yeah.
projecting your sound forward.
Yes.
It's stretching your vocal cords and it's engaging your core.
Yeah.
All in one simple exercise.
That's exactly what I say when you are on camera, because a lot of people are just in one place or they're stiff and I was like, oh, move your body around before, go for a walk, loosen up your
That's
body.
you.
So your voice and your body
Yeah.
matches and is aligned. So it's not that you're just sitting like this and the voice is moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really
And do
great.
some shaking out before you're going in, rolling your shoulders, and
Yeah.
just get the body nice and loose as well.
Absolutely. Get that energy in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
energy. That's a great word.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one of the things I've noticed that being on camera, that when people are there, when you're passionate and you love your guest or your subject, your eyes open up, you feel your expressions are different, you smile. And I think all of these factors of not just voice but body language as well that indicate a very confident person. So as we're talking about confidence and clarity are kind of always kind of matched these are the words that we think about when you think about confidence, we think about clarity. But what does confidence mean to you to be on stage? How is a confident speaker? What would you say? What would you suggest for us to be a confident speaker?
It's about, first of all, how you set yourself before you go out.
Right.
So
like
getting in the right mindset, believing in yourself, setting your body into a strong, I've got to use the word confident, but your body language has to match the aura that you want to give off.
Absolutely. Okay.
And then how you walk out. So do you open?
So the
yourself?
walking in and walking out is an indication of confidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got 5 seconds to
Yes.
grab and hold the attention of your audience.
Yes.
And people are making judgments
Instant.
before you've even opened your mouth to speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Based on how you hold yourself, how you look at the audience, where do you hold your eye contact? Do you smile? Do you look worried? All of these expressions are going to give a vibe off to the audience, and they will then make silent judgments.
Absolutely.
And then once they've made assumptions about what they're expecting from you, if those assumptions are negative, then you've got a really hard road. You've got to work really hard to change those around.
Yes.
Perhaps before you've even opened your mouth.
It's all about perception. And when I'm branding or I'm doing image and branding for someone, I always say that, how you carry yourself and non-verbal communication is 65%. And this is where we have a voice and vision match where it is, because your energy walks in first and your presence does. So I find what I use voice for is great for storytelling. But initially when you're walking on stage or when you are seen on social media on camera, it's all about your presence
or your visual image,
your visual identity. How are you packaged? And I think Chris Do spoke about that at the 1 billion summit. He really talked about packaging. He took a bottle of water that was Evian and a non-branded one. Well, there's a difference in value, a difference in perception. So how you perceive somebody by the way that they're packaged is so important. Identity, their visual identity.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. Of course, I talk about your visual image and your vocal image.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay.
And obviously your visual image is everything around
Yes.
how you show up visually.
Yes. Yeah.
And everything down to your branding, which is all your area of expertise. And then your visual image, which is everything related to how you speak and how you sound and how confident you are. And that aspect of it. And I actually say that your vocal image will always override your visual image.
Really?
I do.
Even though 65% of communication is nonverbal.
Well, I'm talking about how you dress, how you choose to brand yourself visually, and your clothing, your jewelry, your accessories, your hair, that kind of thing. And then your nonverbal communication skills, I'm adding that to vocal image.
Right. Yeah, interesting.
And the reason is, if you think about somebody comes out fully dressed in a suit, think of a male, very, very well-dressed, 3-piece suit.
Yeah. James Bond.
James Bond.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
great. Okay.
Yeah, James Bond.
But then he
Comes to
opens
mind.
his mouth to speak and he sounds like this.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which image is going to override?
Yeah, a man has to have a good voice, right? He's got to have a good deep voice. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
then on the opposite, you could have somebody like Gary Vee.
Yes.
He dresses, that part of his branding is he doesn't really care, right?
But
About
but actually that is also a brand. He is
true.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
part of his branding as well.
Yeah.
But it's what he says and how he says it is what people connect with. It's not about how he looks.
He's got some real iconic signature actions that he uses
And language.
and language. Yeah.
No, but
But what
that's
a
fair.
brilliant speech.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, absolutely
And
amazing.
that's authenticity.
Yeah.
Right there.
But can I tell you that after his marriage, his dress sense, because his wife is Mona, is beautifully stunning and an excellent. She's really she's a fashion addict. She loves her fashion. He also is. He might wear his trousers or his jeans, but they're very much the quality and the stitching and the fabrics.
Okay.
But
You notice
changed.
these
Yes,
things. I don't.
Yeah, because I heard him speak on a couple of videos. Okay, he's changed, and I like that. So it's still casual.
Yeah.
He's still in his sneakers. He's still got his t-shirts or whatever, but much more branded, much more tailored, much more towards his body. And physically, his face is also changed. Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
You
this,
haven't
but
noticed this.
No,
Yeah.
maybe I haven't been tapping into his content or every.
But what a great, iconic, I think, social media influencer, just
Business
educator.
educator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I love is that, influencers and speakers are how they're not just dancing on TikTok, but they have great businesses. They are founders, they're change makers now. And you can use that with the power of voice and storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Storytelling is so important.
Yeah.
People underestimate the power of storytelling and keeping a story bank. Do you keep a story bank?
Yes, I have got a couple of collections. Actually, I was speaking to somebody the day and they're like, Maryum, you've got a story for everything.
There, well, see,
And I think once I've lived, mashallah, a beautiful life and a full, colorful, adventurous life, I always feel that one of my best quotes is that life is a daring adventure or nothing. So, it's all about daring yourself. So, yeah, I have lived a lovely life and I always bring out some stories. So I love conversation, so I always remember things and but if you'd like to explain for those who don't understand.
Okay, so I encourage people to keep a story bank.
Yes.
That means record your stories, as in document them.
Yes.
And have them stored somewhere and categorized. And then identify every story and tie it to certain key messages.
Yes.
Because there will always be an underlying core message or multiple lessons or core messages that you can find in every story.
Yeah.
And people would be amazed at how a simple story about your daughter picking her nose could have great connections to a business presentation about what is the correct etiquette. Or what you can find so many underlying themes in almost any story, and you would never think, oh, I can't tell that story in public. But people relate to it, and stories are relatable because, oh yeah, I know exactly how that feels, or my daughter does that too, or people see themselves in stories, and that's what makes them sticky, memorable, relatable, and makes you memorable and relatable.
Absolutely. I think, again, people buy from people love people, and you just take that example of Richard Branson and Virgin, who has the better relatability. If you're relatable, you're also remembered.
Yeah. That's actually a very good point, is that it's so important to build our personal brand.
Yes.
When you think of the biggest companies like Virgin, like Amazon, like SpaceX, who do we think of first? We think of the people behind those brands.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are more famous than the brands themselves.
Absolutely. And that's why building your personal brand, especially if you haven't started, it's one to do in 26 for sure. Through storytelling, through your visual identity.
Become the voice of your brand.
Because there's so many tools with AI and AI generated content that people, again, are looking for raw, authentic, real, imperfect content
Relatable.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if this is probably the best time to be on camera, because if you don't feel like you have to be that polished person, that to be a little bit less polished is probably best. Those created, perfect videos where everybody was coming out with the perfect B-rolls. None of that now.
No.
It's really more about being authentic, just being who
Just
you are.
hold your camera and start walking and
Absolutely.
talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slightly changing backgrounds. So if you're walking and talking, that holds attention.
I love the
listener.
walking and talking
Yeah.
videos. I think they do really well.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, breath work. I think do some breath work, because some people get out of breath and they're doing their videos. So that's not a good look. But yeah, definitely. How can we strengthen our voice then? So what else would you say to strengthen? We've done some breath work. We've done some exercises. Is there anything else that you would say that we could suggest to really understand our voice?
Well, when I'm working with people on building their voices and
Yes.
tuning their ears to their voice, because this is another thing that people don't hear themselves the way that other people do. So we hear ourselves within our head and we have preconceived perceptions of how we speak. But unless you record yourself and hear yourself back,
Yes.
you don't really know how you come across to other people. And so the first thing that I'm doing with people is to tune their ears to their own voices.
Right.
And
Okay.
so, did my voice go up at the end of this sentence? Am I speaking with a question, even though I don't realize I'm speaking with a question? People don't know where they're leaving people
Yes.
and how that's coming across to others. So you've got to, first of all, know how you sound, tune your own ears.
Right.
And then I do singing style exercises with executives, leaders, entrepreneurs, speakers,
Yes.
because what that does, as we talked about earlier, it's the same instrument whether you're singing or speaking. Now, when you're singing, you're
Yes.
extending it further. You're extending your breath longer. So you're building strength all in your breath. You're making your vocal cords work harder. So that's strengthening the vocal cords as well. And you're stretching your range, giving you more possibility to go higher or to go lower with your voice, because that singing stretches it and gives you that possibility.
Oh, wow. Singing lessons as well. So yeah, I think that's
Well, I don't call them singing lessons. I just call them vocalizations.
vocalizations.
And those lip trills that we did before, well, we do a lot more on those. It's not just, but going up and down and playing with those, and then sirens and exercises like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 8, 6, 7. I can't do this one. Come back. 8, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's weird.
We've had some real exhausting days for
We have. Oh my God.
energies. Yeah. So yeah.
No, but the funny thing is, when I do this exercise with people, and I've always thought, why can't you count? And here I am, somebody put out pressure, and I can't count.
Yeah. But I think what you've just mentioned is great, because people don't understand their voice. But many people don't like the sound of their own voice. I think that's a big one that I hear. I don't like the way I sound. When I started podcasting, everybody said, "Oh my God, you speak so well." And I was like, I speak like this. So I've always spoken like this, and you don't recognize your own self. I was like, well, I always speak like this. No, Maryum, I love the way that you speak. And all my friends in Dubai were like, oh, wow, that you like, we've never heard you speak, but you speak. So I was like, really? So like you just said, we don't really recognize that quality where people recognize. And for me, it's just natural. I was like, oh.
Yes, but not everybody has this naturally built into them. And, I don't know about you, but at the summit this last weekend, the amount of people who came up to speak with me, I could not understand them. I mean, it was already a difficult environment with so much going on, but if they don't speak clearly, speaking through a closed mouth, speaking without opening their mouths and speaking to me like this, and expecting me to understand everything that they're saying.
So open your mouth and we speak.
Drop your jaw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I would guess that you, growing up, were quite an extroverted,
animated person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would guess you had good influences growing up.
I did. I have great role models. And we had this discussion about imposter syndrome. And I was like, my father served in the Second World War. And it was like, if you want to do something, you do it, you learn it, and that's it. Like, there's no other way of understanding. So I think those positive role models gave me, and I think this is what it is, that self-belief. You can do it. And so I've never thought I can't. It's just learning another skill. And speaking is a skill.
Absolutely. You can learn it.
Anybody can learn it.
Yes, you can.
Right?
And it's all about putting in the repetitions.
Yes.
You have to be prepared to stretch. We talked about that, stretching yourself outside your
Yes.
comfort zone, get uncomfortable to get comfortable. And then you have to put the work in, do the reps.
Absolutely. So, as we're both podcasters and we've been podcasting, I'm coming up to my 100th episode. What have you learned about yourself as being a creator and a podcaster?
Listening
Yes.
skills to stay in the threads of the conversation,
Yes.
but also to be able to find new threads. Because when you're speaking with other people, some of your guests will not be as vocal
Yes.
and forthcoming with conversation. So you have to also find the threads and keep the conversation, steer the conversation in the direction you want it to go, and keep them in the conversation, not just giving you short answers, because some people are harder than others to draw stories and information and experience out of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
And you?
I completely have. I was watching one of my earlier videos because I'm coming up to my 100, and I have completely, I think, changed. And it's such a, for me, I find podcasting, it's such a self-development exercise. I think it's changed me as a person, not just for my business, but myself. The way that I've always loved conversations. I've always loved people. So for me, that's very natural.
Yeah.
I loved speaking. But yes, the act of listening and taking a pause, which I get excited about. My guests, I love them so much. And I think that's the key point for me, is that being a podcaster, you have to love your guest. And then that's how the best conversations come.
I would
And
agree.
some people have guests on just for the fact that they are a celebrity, or they're maybe an influencer, or they need somebody. For me, I always say, if you're in podcasting, it's your show, choose the guest that you love, and that the conversation will be better, because your audience will love it. They will enjoy the conversation. You enjoy the conversation, they'll naturally enjoy it.
True.
So for me, I think my guests give me energy. They give me conversation. It's equal, but and also knowing that person a little bit
I
beforehand.
think that is
I
helpful.
love the person. I admire them for the person that they are, for the business owner, for the creative, for the narrative that they're in, spreading in the world. So I love that about them, and I would only choose a guest that I really admire.
Yeah, I
That's
love
the
that.
difference with me.
See, I have experienced people that have been recommended to be on my show. Or they're
Yes.
passing through Dubai. You should get that person on your show. Then you meet in the studio for the first time, don't really know the person, and all you're doing is doing your research, getting ChatGPT to research them as well, and come up with great conversational topics.
Yes.
And that doesn't always work, or
No, it
it doesn't always
doesn't.
feel great.
No.
But then sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does, yeah, because the person also, it depends on the other person. Sometimes, but I also feel that rapport that you build beforehand,
Yeah.
that is the building block, the confidence, the reassurance of how the interview will go and what is expected in the interview, and they get to know you a little bit more. Otherwise, if they haven't met you completely, then I think that initial first 15-20 minutes takes time, and then they get into the interview, and then it's great.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. But
Not always possible. I'm going to say not from my experience.
Yes.
It's just not always possible when you really do want to have somebody on the show,
yeah.
and their time is completely, limited.
Yes.
They show up, you're in the studio, and yes, you've done your research. I think from our perspective as podcasters,
Yes.
we have to have absorbed enough of their content that we feel like we know them.
Yes, absolutely.
When we get them in the room.
Research is absolutely paramount.
Yes.
You can't have a guest and you not research them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so going onto their socials, watching their
Yes.
videos, bringing them into your world as much as you can, so
Yes.
you have that sense of, I already know you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does 2026 bring for you? What are you looking forward to in this year?
Oh, a lot of things. It's going to be a very changing year
Yeah.
for me, because both my daughters are heading off to Australia throughout this year to
Oh,
study.
wonderful.
So that's like a new pivotal moment. It's liberating in some ways.
Empty nest.
The empty nest. Well, I don't see it that way.
Yeah, but in the
I
next
see it-
chapter for the girls, how
chapter
beautiful.
for everybody, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And launching a new product at the moment, or a new program whereby I'm wanting to help people who are in the creative space or who are educators,
Yes.
who don't yet have their voice or don't yet have one signature asset that they can use as a client acquisition machine.
So explain a signature asset.
So a signature talk is your core message.
Right.
Who you are,
Yes.
what you can do for people, why they should care, what can it do for them,
Right,
and
okay.
leading normally towards some kind of a call to action to work with you, to learn more from you.
So important.
Yeah. And that can be in the form of a particular talk that you could use on stage. You could create a webinar. You could create an ever webinar where people can be finding you while you're sleeping, drawing people into your world. It's just constantly running. It could be the talk that you know is your core message that you share on podcasts as well.
Yes.
It's broken up. It could be broken up into short social form content as well. So that is a signature asset.
Okay. Wonderful.
And then so understanding, teaching people how to use their voice, their presence to be able to then deliver and create that signature asset, and then to build a system around that that will nurture people as they come into their world and nurture them to become a client. So ultimately, your voice becomes a client-generating, income-generating machine
Absolutely.
for your business.
And a final message you'd like to give everybody regarding voice and communications?
Definitely to don't hold yourself back. If you've got a message to share, make sure you just go out there and do it. Just do it. The Nike. Yeah, just do it. Just do it and stop overthinking things and get started, because once you get started, you get rolling.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining me on the first Dubai edition. I loved our conversation. So great to see you.
Been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.